Hello, everyone, and welcome to Twillow Talk. I'm Tanis Coughlin from the Twillow Lifestyle Community, Twillow Lifestyle Academy, and I am joined by Jennifer Tarkovsky,
Hello,
a
hello.
beautiful host, as well as our special guest, Gerald from Tarot Stash. Woohoo! Hello, Gerald.
Mango.
We are always thrilled to have you.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
welcome, welcome. And we have had a lot going on.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
That's about all we can all say.
Yes, we have.
A big hello to Hypnocity, who's here. Hey. And to Fogo Pogo.
Hey,
Hey,
Kaylee.
Kaylee. And I am on with her tonight. So that'll be a fun,
Yay.
Oh,
fun
nice.
chat. Yeah. Looking forward to that. And yeah. So I don't even know where to start with the stuff. So actually our Schumann is pretty good today.
Okay.
Our
good.
Schumann is only like 10. Keep in mind the usual is 7.8 hertz, so it's still a little bit elevated, but not like it has been up in like 70s, 80s, 90s. So that's pretty good. And then we've had, I'll just maybe I'll share the screen with you here, guys. So the solar flare situation is such that we have had two fairly large ones today. Let's add this to the stage here. There we go. So we've had these two today, fairly large. This one here is an X1.55. And then we've had this one here as well, which is the M8. Actually, I think there was an M9, right? Yeah, M9 0.55. Okay, so as you can see over here too, we've had, let's just flip through here. So we did have a CME impact today. And an X15, and we also had an Earth-directed CME. So that would be the impact that we had today. So it got tossed out on Saturday and ended up hitting us today. So there's impact there, and we see that with symptoms that we have usually. So we shall often see things like the ascension symptoms, right? We get tired, dizzy, we feel off. Sometimes we'll get more aches and pains. That seems to be mine today. Sometimes we'll get headaches and stuff, those kinds of things. So
Yeah.
ascension symptoms is usually what we get with those coronal mass ejections when they arrive. So hang on to your hats and, well, I'm wearing one. I could wear one, but I don't have a hat here. I think I have everything else that I need here in terms of props, but no hats today. Only a crown. Is that considered a hat? Oh, I lied. I do have a hat.
Are we doing hats? Okay.
I don't know. I do have a hat. I have my little, this one.
I have hats.
I have this one.
There you
I don't
go.
think I want to wear it the whole show though. But yeah, I do have a hat. It's a witchy hat. There we
Very
go.
nice.
So hold on to your hats, folks, because we're in.
I am
We're in
putting
for some
on a
fun.
helmet so that all of that energy just gets reflected back.
I like that actually. That's one of the visualizations I do is like a whole bubble of disco ball, like that. I think
Yes.
that's awesome. You're surrounded by your witchies.
Hypnicity said, what about earth movement?
Earth movement. Yes, arthritis. So yeah, I think that's what it is today. Is the I'm actually going to take my hat off, guys. Sorry.
It's okay.
Only because,
That's how Jen's feeling.
I'm just gonna hide in my hat.
You're going to hide in your hat today. I could
Yes.
put a crown on if you like. I could put a crown instead. I just, I have another podcast to do and all of that.
There you go.
Earth movement. So Earth movement is the Schumann resonance. In terms of that, we have some. What is that? Oh, Jen's half in the bag. All right.
She's feeling a certain way.
She is.
Well, I mean, we talk about like the symptoms and things like that, and I've been sick for the last couple days, and just kind of doing a lot of releasing and stuff, and that's all part of the energy too. So I think that there's
It is. Yeah.
a lot there.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that are sick right now. Like in terms of nasally stuff, that
Mhm.
it's not normal, like allergies for them, but they seem to be struggling a bit with that. So
Mhm.
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
So what have we got going on here?
The sorting hat.
Well, and it's interesting
Fine
too
trio.
because just before I was mentioning about some of the astrological stuff that's going on, and we can talk about the transits when you're ready. But like some of the stuff that's happening astrologically is like we're going to go through some stuff to get cleared out. So like even feeling the arthritis or kind of feeling this kind of clearing, feeling tension or tightness, feeling all of that is kind of part of the energy that we're in. So
It is. Yeah.
yeah. Do you want me to share about that? I don't know if you've got more.
Yeah, no, I think that's good. Oh, yeah, we've had headaches here.
Mm-hmm.
Sore throat, headache, migraine, heading it off. That's good.
Mm-hmm. Migraines are super cool. I'm going to digress for a minute and do a bit.
Migraines are super cool. I beg to differ.
I get migraines and they're not super cool, but
No, they're really not super cool.
That's not what I meant. They're not super cool at all. What I was going to say, I'm just dropping everything to get to this book. So you guys have seen me use this book before. This is where the basic exercise comes from.
Yes.
This is what is super cool, not the migraine piece. But there's a section in here about working with migraines, and actually it has helped me because I've gotten migraines since I was a kid. So notice the headache, right? The way that the migraine shows up. How does it show up for you? Right? So there's that like pressure over the eyes and then that pressure back here. Or does it show up on that side of the head kind of thing? Or is it like wrapped around the eye? Or is it like in the back, right? So there are the different ways that migraines show up. And then what's really cool is once you kind of identify the way it is, so like mine often are like just around the eye like that. So this one for me is big, but I don't know if you guys can see on there the X's. You see like here.
Oh, yeah.
Gerald, I need your little hands. There's right? Or there's
Little hands to point
here. There's two of them here.
Yeah.
Right? Or the whole like 4. And so that's what that's doing. It's this muscle, right? That goes right along here. And if you actually, like for me, it's the 4. So I put my pressure on that muscle, right? I tend to do it this way and just lean on into it. And it actually releases the pressure of my migraine. It is phenomenal. So when I say cool, it's about geeking out cool, not cool that the migraine is cool. Because that is such a powerful thing. And I find that it's really helped me to get rid of the migraines, and it's helped them to like stay longer in between having them.
Okay, yeah.
So it's a super cool kind of tool to use when you have a migraine. That's what I meant when I was saying super cool.
Kaylee said number 2, migraine number 2 for Kaylee.
Okay.
Number 2. Okay.
Did you catch what number 2 was? So it's 3, right? So you've got the 3. Am I showing you guys the right one there?
Yeah.
Right. So you can see it's the upper kind of part of the muscle there. So just below the ear, and then right around where the chin is, and then right where it kind of cuts over into this muscle. So you're just going to hold those 3 and put pressure on them on the side that the migraine is.
Okay.
So
yeah. Yes. Last couple of days I feel unsettled energy, definitely.
Yeah, so that's heading into
tomorrow. Mm-hmm.
Tomorrow.
And we have solstice, full moon at the end of this week. So let's find out what this big transit stuff is that's coming in, because Jen's got stuff to share.
Okay, so the transit stuff from the 7th to the 13th, so we're kind of in the middle of it. We're in the gate 45. So this is about the energy of dominance moving towards communion. And we're going to do that through synergy, right? So the idea here is like can we look at these areas that come up for us, unhealthy kind of desires to, I say dominate, but like to take control, right? Like this piece of like, it has to be this way, and I'm going to exert that power in order to make it that way. And so if we're noticing that that's kind of coming up for us, to kind of recognize and take a step back and go, okay, like, what do I need to address here, right? What is my fear, or what is coming up for me that is causing me to have to feel like I have to maintain this control, right? Or to to make sure that I have to like, keep everything for myself, because I'm scared of what can happen with that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
As opposed to like this boundless and energy in the enlightened state, the siddhi, where it's this kind of ability to transcend limitation, right? So we're looking at anything's possible, right? We're not confined by these fears that we have, and they don't hold the power, right? And so how can we kind of embrace this energy of harmonizing and allowing things to ebb and flow, knowing that what we need is going to come back to us.
Mm.
Right. And it's really interesting because right in the middle of this transit, tomorrow, Pluto is going to retrograde, and it's going to come back square. Like we're in the energy right now. So which is why we've been feeling it for the last couple of days, because a couple days before and a couple days after it hits an exact, like we're going to feel the energy. But Pluto and Mars are going to square off.
Oh dear.
Now, let's think about this, right? Like Mars energy, this destruction, this immaturity in human design, it's, our core wound energy. And then it's going to square off with Pluto, which is all about transformation. And Pluto just like does a full sweep, right? And it doesn't matter how, we feel about it, or what we want it to be, or what we want it to look like. Pluto's just like, nope, that's it. We're done. We're transforming this, right? So these two are coming and they're going to be squaring off, right? Like this is massive energy. And depending on where your natal placements are, especially like the key placements, like this could have a really huge impact. So when we think about like, okay, here's this shadow dominance energy, and then here is this energy that is going to really make us feel out of control. Like, can you see the power of what could happen with this?
Yeah.
Right. So being really mindful and really aware of what's coming up for us. If we're feeling this urge to have to change something, or to have to make something, be a certain way, a lot of times there's this need with this energy to release the pressure, because the pressure can show up. It can be emotional pressure. It can be physical pressure. It can be like, it can show up in so many different ways psychologically, like this need to, break ties, or, quit a job, or move away. Like there's so many drastic kind of things that we can jump into when we hit this energy, because of this pull for needing to control something that we want to get rid of. And now add, an undefined root that needs to be rid of that pressure right away. And, we could be making some really rash choices, that when we get through this, we might go, hold on, like this might have put me in a position that is harder than where I was to begin with. Right? Yeah. So this is about really taking the time to notice the energies, but don't necessarily jump to act on them. Right? The image that I see in my mind when I think of this is, that image of like the dumpster on fire just rolling down the street.
Oh dear.
Like we have the capacity to do something, and then after the fact go, oh crap. right? So just be really compassionate with yourself. Notice what's coming up. Notice if these energies are pulling on you. If they are, take that breath. Take a step back, journal if you have to, write it all down, all the things that are coming up, all the things that you want to change or get rid of or do whatever with. And then in a couple days from now, if you still want to do that or work towards that, you can start to make a plan, but just be really careful in the here and now what you're doing and what's coming up.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me of the tower card.
Oh.
Is that what that energy is like? What card would you equate it to, Gerald?
I think the Tower card is a powerful one, because depending upon which perspective you take, are you the building being struck or are you the lightning striking?
Yeah.
So I think with pressing pause a little bit allows us to shift from the building being hit to the lightning being able to sort of, I can't say direct it, but perhaps include it and to make it less monotonous or chaotic is the word.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that, because there is the potential for a lot of anger to come up with this.
Mm-hmm.
And so directing it, right, in a healthy way of using that energy in a way that's productive as opposed to destructive, is a really important piece. So that's such a beautiful way of interpreting that card.
Thank you.
Yeah. So grounding all that energy so that we can manage it easier.
Drinking extra water.
Yes. Maybe chamomile tea. Might be a choice. Okay, some people don't like chamomile tea, but
I think it is one of those things that we have to remember. It's important for me to remember that I can tell when I don't have enough hydration. Water is a conductor of energy.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm feeling disjointed, if I'm not feeling like things are firing appropriately, it could be that I am not hydrated enough and my body can't do what it would normally do with these things. So stuff is getting stuck.
Mm-hmm.
It's not able to finish. It's not able to complete the circuit.
Mm-hmm. And water is such a beautiful thing for completing the circuit. Like when I did, brain gym and energy medicine and stuff, that's what we talked about, is this idea that, water is a conductor. And so whenever we would do any kind of treatment, immediately you drink water.
Yeah.
Right? It's that kind of like, okay, we're gonna solidify this work. Right? You have a sip of water, swish it around, and
Well, and also it allows us to flush things out. It allows us to do what a healthy body can do.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, and it represents flow, which is what we need to be in.
Yes.
Over the next bit. So I think water is going to be a key element for us to tap into.
And there's a lot of different, there's a lot of different healing modalities that include water.
Yep. Aqua
There's
lead.
some of that in it. Aqua lead.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hi, Stella.
Yeah, we should say hello, eh? Hello.
Hello.
How's it going? And so Hypnocity also said this was about the migraine. So regular magnesium helped rid me of migraines.
Nice.
And her surgical scars are all itchy today. That's a healing sign, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're itchy.
Mm-hmm.
So that's interesting. And then we have Carla joining us. Hi, Carla. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Energy. Yes, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Water flows.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I always find it super cleansing when we can get into water too, right? Whether it's in a shower, bath, a pool, a hot tub, at the beach, like anywhere.
Rain.
I find rain. We've had enough of that lately. But it's very cleansing to get into the water, right?
Yeah.
So for me, that makes a big difference. If I'm feeling out of sorts, even if I just get in the shower and, envision that being
Yep.
cleansed.
Absolutely.
I find it helpful.
Yeah.
For
Well,
sure.
and it's great too, because water also washes away residual energies and everything else that we pick up. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
Salt water helps even more, but then you got to rinse it off.
True.
But it also has that cleansing effect. So,
Yeah.
anything else in our forecast? Anyone?
Just be kind to yourselves.
Yeah, for sure.
You know.
I mean,
Be
and
gentle.
if it's hard to be kind to yourself, just pause before you do anything.
Mhm.
Take a breath, drink a sip of water, something like that. Just get back into your body. Try to connect with the physical aspects. It feels very much to me like, because there's so much energy going on, we may be losing touch with the physical body and the physical aspects of our body. So grounding is really important. Earthing is very important, as is that sense of is if you do any healing practices or magical practices, it may be an opportunity to add a physicality to them. Gestures, Tai Chi, yoga, that's an important aspect. Just get back into the body.
I've been feeling that push for this year, actually, but definitely lately, for sure. I think that was, and maybe that's just me, but that was that was one of my prompts for the year.
Yeah.
Do the physical, get in your body.
Well,
I
and
spend a lot of time not in here, so.
Yeah. So much of what, we talk about, like when we do the human design talks and stuff like that, is that the body, it's the different parts of the body that actually hold the wisdom. And it's what we feel in the body that allows us to truly navigate, right? The mind doesn't know. It really doesn't, right? It thinks it knows, but it's never meant to be the decision maker. And I think that, the way that we get in the mind causes that, pull away from the body, because the mind knows that the body truly has the wisdom, and it doesn't want to lose that control. It doesn't want to be taken, out of the power. Here we are, like this exact energy, dominance versus synergy. Like, come on. Right? That's what the mind does. And so it's it's a really neat kind of parallel for the energy that we're in.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Definitely.
So, and we're 2 weeks before the Letha, or the summer solstice, and a full moon says that's on the 30th.
That's right.
So we're building energy up. So depending upon the practices that you have and what you are paying attention to, energy is of course building.
Yeah.
It's going to, and this is the last ditch effort of the sun, the full energy, before it starts to actually do some receding. So it's powerful. It's important to pay attention.
Yep. Absolutely. So shall we pick a card there, Jen?
We could totally pick a card. I have
what
them
we're going to talk
started to just shuffle, and then I don't know. Okay, what do we want, guys? What do we need?
What do we need to talk about?
Oh. What am I most afraid of losing?
Wow.
That kind of goes with the forecast, doesn't it?
That really goes with the forecast. Holy moly, it's like bang on. Okay, here we go. As we grow, change, and transform, our lives, it requires us to let go of something that was, to make room for something that will be. If you were to take a big leap today, would you feel scared of losing love, safety, or belonging? What if it was a big, fat lie? What if it was impossible to lose any of those things because you have the power to give everything you need to yourself? Today's soul action. Name that fear and look at the worst case scenario. Find a solution. Take your power back by being certain of who you are and where you are going. Today's mantra: I move forward knowing I am powerful beyond measure. I am loved. I am safe, and I belong.
Mm.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
That card embodies the transit that we're in. It embodies the conjunction that we're going to go through.
Mhm. Yeah.
That is
I think
quite
I think a
beautiful.
lot of my clients have been dealing with that stuff too, in
Mhm.
terms of that,
Mhm.
like rejection stuff, which is related to that, you know,
Yeah.
abandonment stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, this has been a theme. Yeah, I think this has been a theme with clients for a little bit now too on my end. And we are in this place of transformation, and it's such an incredible thing. But in order to transform, we have to let go of things,
Mhm.
right? Like I think about the butterfly. It's such a beautiful example, right? The butterfly the caterpillar has to go into the cocoon, that chrysalis, and it literally dissolves,
Yeah.
right? In order to be reformed into the butterfly. But what's absolutely beautiful is that even though the caterpillar completely dissolves, it had everything it needed to be a butterfly within it, and all of it is still within the butterfly,
Mhm.
right? They're not, this transformation doesn't negate what it was, but we have to recognize that in order for a transition to happen, there has to be a release
Mhm.
and a letting go. And that's why I love that.
Yeah, it's a great analogy.
You know,
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. I think that, there's so much change that is going on and coming, that allowing for that transformation and release is going to be an important aspect. When we're all scared of change, but everything changes all the time. So here's a question. Why is it easier for us to release some things than others?
our belief around it.
How integrated it is to our being and our existence.
Mhm. Like, how much is it involved in our day-to-day lives?
Mhm.
Whether that's in our head or in the physical day-to-day.
If we feel
How?
dependent on it.
What'd you say? Sorry.
If we feel dependent on it.
Yeah.
If it is not aligned with who we truly are,
Mm.
because when we don't have that sync, then there is difficulty, there's challenge.
It's interesting you say that. But in shadow work and human design, which we have not gotten into in any of our stuff yet, but what it talks about is the fact that what we look for the most, or what pulls us the most, are the things that we're not, or the things that are
Mhm.
not defined or in our design. And so it's an interesting piece, right? When we talk about what's aligned and what's misaligned, if we can recognize how much of what's misaligned is what we're striving for, and that we don't need to hold on to that, that would be a beautiful thing, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So it's almost like what we do in business, right? We look at our business plan.
Mhm.
What are we still doing that maybe it's not working anymore, and so it probably needs to be released because it's not really part of who we are anymore as an organization,
Yeah.
right? It's not part of who that is, because of course they go through transitions
Mm-hmm.
as well.
Mhm.
Any kind of organization, right?
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah.
and every year or so you relook at that and reevaluate what you want to release.
Mhm.
So Kaylee's saying at the root, fear. Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
that creates all sorts of, right?
Mm-hmm.
well, and what I am most afraid of losing is my comfort, my comfort and my satisfaction with the stasis.
Yeah.
And there are some people out there who they enjoy constant evolution, constant movement. And I'm not one of them. I like routine. I like habit.
Mm-hmm.
And but evolution and the ability to grow and evolve means that I have to be willing to press pause. And as you said, Tanis, in a business standpoint, if you're still doing the same things that you were 20 years ago, you're probably going to go out of business. You're not evolving. You're not keeping up because the world's changing. And
Right.
am I evolving and am I growing and changing with the world? And sometimes I'm not, and sometimes I don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
That's honest. So
Yeah, I think
Very
we all have that sometimes, right?
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
We dig in our heels. I don't want to change.
Yep.
And that's okay. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and
Yeah, I mean, the COVID thing is a good example, right? If we had all stayed the same as we were trying to do pre-COVID, during COVID, many businesses would have been out of business, right?
Oh, of
As
course.
they have been.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're all different since COVID, even if that wasn't a big effect on us in terms of the,
Mm-hmm.
you know, your income and all of that. I think we're all different.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
What's the phrase that you're never the same person twice because we always learn? Every time we learn something, we change.
Mm-hmm.
So you're never the same person 2 days in a row.
Yeah.
Kaylee shared, only reason I'm quiet is lots of thinking. Very relevant right now.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I understand that.
Yeah.
Well, and this fear of losing is such an incredible kind of inhibitor to change, in the sense that, I talk about secondary gains and losses with clients, right? If you heal this, what do you lose? Right? And oftentimes there is, as you were saying, Gerald, that familiarity that we're comfortable with, even if we're uncomfortable with it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And it's like, okay, well, if I, and this is the biggest one, I think, for anybody that I've come across, I know for myself too, is like, if I take full responsibility for how I'm doing with this situation,
Yeah.
right? I can't put this on somebody else. I can't, say, well, you did this or that, right? If I allow myself to then make a change because of that, I have to take that on and own that moving forward. And that's, clients so often are like, that is liberating and the scariest thing ever, all in the same,
Yep.
It's
you know.
true. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We're only responsible for our own actions and reactions, but
Mhm.
we need to take responsibility for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when we talk about, what we're most afraid of losing, oftentimes that clinging that we have to that is something that we have to release. Right? So
Mhm.
really looking at, what is it that I'm most afraid of losing, and, am I keeping myself stagnant because I'm holding on to that, or I'm wanting that to stay the same?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you're right. That familiarity and that comfort with the routine, even though it may be an unhealthy routine or an unhealthy situation, it's what I'm familiar with. It's what I'm used to. I know how to navigate these waters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so yeah.
So let's put it out there. What are some of the things that you've had to change that have been some of the biggest things that you were fearful of changing? Me, careers. For me,
yeah.
I was fearful of career change.
Mm-hmm.
Going from management and healthcare into doing this work. That was a big change for me. So,
Yeah. And for me, it's being one of the most experienced people about a subject and then switching locations to being the new person.
Yes.
It's like, woo, okay, that's different.
That new learning curve when you change
Yes.
offices or change businesses or whatever you're working for. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can think of
Career path.
so many times where, the things that I've feared changing and really like spent endless nights just really worked up about and worrying about. And the moment that they actually happened, I remember, one thing I'm thinking of specifically, and it had to do with the kids. And I cried. I just let myself cry. I think I've talked about this on the show before, and really let that break down inside of me,
Mhm.
right? Become that caterpillar and just completely surrender, because I've got no ability to stop this change from happening, and go, okay, like I have to release this. And I have to recognize that releasing this is not actually a loss. And that was really, really hard, right? It's a loss to an expectation, and it is a
Yeah.
loss to what I wanted it to be, but it's not truly a loss in the bigger picture. And I had to be able to move forward with it, whether I wanted it or not, right? And in that moment of really letting myself feel it and letting myself fall apart with it, I was able to go, okay, now what? How do I want to rebuild? How do I want to put back together? What's my butterfly going to be?
Mhm.
Well, an expectation is often a key here, right? We're disappointed or we're upset about something that's happened because we have an expectation
Yeah.
around what it should be or what it should look like.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So if we can release the expectation, then it makes it easier. But it's difficult, as us humans, to release expectation around things. We like things the way we like them.
Yes.
Mhm.
I saw recently a friend had on their social media uh, the the concept, but something that's just like, but what happens if you can fly? Instead of, but I'm going to fail, I'm going to fail, I'm going to fail. Well, what happens if you succeed?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it's an interesting switch to that. So, I'm thinking about what am I most afraid of losing? Well, what am I most excited about gaining?
I don't know if you guys will be able to see this.
Hmm.
It says, what if it all works out?
What if it all works
Oh.
out? Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because that's something, when we worry, when we fret, we're fretting about things that we don't know are going to happen, whether or not they're going to happen. So,
Yeah. And we put an awful lot of energy into that could be used elsewhere, right?
yes.
Mhm.
So,
Well, and this is where working on, know thyself is such a beautiful thing. And then, my two favorite quotes, know thyself and to thine own self be true, right? Because there is this kind of piece here where if we worry about it, we can do 50 million different, scenarios and see if we can maybe try to figure it out. And it never quite goes the way that we thought it would anyway.
Yeah.
But if we could just go, okay, in the moment, if this happens, I'm going to trust myself to know what to do. And if that means that I'm going to have to phone a friend.
I always like that one. Phone a friend. That's the option.
Yeah. Right. but to be able to, hold space for trusting that we're going to be okay and we're going to know what to do when we face those things.
Mm-hmm.
Now, all of the sudden, it doesn't matter 50 million scenarios.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes. And that's a higher life skill.
Mhm.
Because as an adult, I've learned how to disregard that. And so I have to unlearn it.
Yeah.
So just being realistic, it's like, yes. And it's a process.
It is. Good old programming. That constant process we go through, right?
Mhm.
I like the uploaded positive way to think and ask. Mhm.
Is that your yoga teacher?
It is. It's Jacqueline
Mhm.
Richards. She is a yoga teacher and yogini. What? Oh, it's gone from my head.
Uh-oh.
The wealthy yogini.
Yes.
Yoga for your personal finances. I was putting them all in the one, so it wasn't making sense.
Phenomena.
Yeah, it was like, nope, that's not it. Nope, that's not it either. What is that?
I have seen her on the show, yes.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, she's awesome. And Carla, leaps of faith can be so scary. For me, a big one was to move from Mexico to Canada. Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
Mhm.
That would be a
That
huge
is.
one.
Absolutely.
And I want to know, Carla, what was it that helped you get through that? If you had that moment of, what am I most afraid of losing? What did you do with that when you had that conversation with yourself? So I'm just curious, and Carla, you don't have to tell me. I'm just like, that is scary. I've never done anything quite like that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Hey, Nancy.
hey, Mousy.
Hello.
And Jacqueline says, hee hee, thank y'all.
Yeah, to Carla's thing, I remember, because I also am an immigrant baby up here from not as far, but moving into Canada at the time for me, recognizing my patterns. So for me, I was super excited about making the move and transitioning. And the scarier part for me was when I split with my partner, which is why I came to Canada at the time, and found out that I couldn't move back to my family and I couldn't be with my support system and I couldn't go back to where I felt safe and secure, and that I had to be here alone in that was really, really scary. And so it is an interesting thing to notice, like, what comes up inside of us when we have these big life changes,
Yeah.
and to be able to sit with that, right? So yeah, afraid to leave parents,
Oh,
behind. That's a huge,
Mm-hmm.
huge
thank
fear.
you for sharing that, Carla. Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. A big hello to Liz. Hey, Liz.
Liz.
Hey.
Good to see you.
And this is
Sharon.
Jennifer.
Yes.
Hello,
Jennifer Tchaikovsky.
hello.
She's wait, it's up in the corner over there. Her name. Yeah. There we go. Thank you.
Good job.
I'm on the wrong side of the screen.
So there you go. Liz.
Liz says my move to Mexico was my best move. It was life the Mayan energy and blue ocean just called to me. Told my PhD would be ruined. Oh well, just piled higher and deeper after all the BS and MS. Yeah.
Wow. It's a lot.
That is.
Yeah. That's it. I mean, a huge thing when we talk about what am I afraid to lose, like there's a lot to look at, and the mind could really jump in on that and go, yeah, but you don't want to give up that PhD and you don't want to do the da 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 da, right? As opposed to really honoring the fact that you were called,
Yeah.
to be there. So it's a beautiful thing that, you were able to honor that, and no worries. Aw, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I think we face this too with when we lose parents or friends or to death as well, right? That's another transition that we fear.
Yeah. I'm just going to clarify for hypnicity. Once you leave, you can't come back. I had kids, and I couldn't bring my children back to the States without a court order saying that I could. And my ex was in Canada, and it was a whole big thing. And I'm at this point, I'm very happy that I didn't go back. I'm very glad that I'm still here. But there were other extenuating circumstances for me that made it so that I couldn't at that time. But it's not that like, you can move up here and then you can't leave. That's not.
That would scare me. That would be the reasons around that could happen would be.
Yeah. There's something different going on there. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And how many times have, we've been pushed into changes and transformations, and we have to grieve the old, but then when we realize, how many times has it been like the best thing that ever happened?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's it. I'm grateful every day that I was not able to leave and go back, like to move back, because I'm exactly where I'm meant to be, and I know that very deeply.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
well.
cool.
I'm glad you didn't go back.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. Yeah. Excellent.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
This says her astrological chart said she would live in different countries, so she did.
Perfect.
Nice.
Perfect.
Yeah, I wish I had that too. The childlike innocence with change. They get excited about it because they don't understand, or they. So we get bogged down in what we think are the I want to say ramifications to change, right? Even though those might not have anything to do with the actual change when we actually do it, but the what ifs. It's the what ifs.
Well, when we come into the world, we're way more connected, right? That kind of, we unlearn so much as we grow up.
Yeah.
It's quite incredible.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at. There's no permanence. We don't think about the consequences per se. Yeah. That's a better word than ramifications.
Well, and it's true. I mean, that part of the brain doesn't even form
Exactly.
until we're a little bit older, right? And different for the different body type, but like we don't form that right away. Right? So we're very much kind of flying by the seat of our pants.
Well, go ahead. Sorry.
No, that's okay. Go ahead.
Well, I was just thinking I used to do managing transitions training at work. There's a great book, Bridges, Managing Change, Managing Transitions. And part of it is let's be honest, it's not the change that we fear, it's the transition. It's from going to something that we know and that we're comfortable with to something that we don't know and we're not comfortable with it. It's so scary when that happens. And I think one of the best things that the takeaway that I had with that is we have to honor where we're coming from. where are we? Where am I? And how am I? Let's honor my past experiences. Don't discount them because they brought you to where you are. I
Mhm.
think that's brilliant. If we spend a little bit more time expressing gratitude in our
Mhm.
daily life, and I can go back and I can look in my gratitude journals about the things that I really I remember. So, does that make sense to the two of you?
Mhm.
Yeah, for sure. I had a class yesterday, Reiki 1 class, and it was telling them about something that had happened in my life, and they were all like, "I'm so sorry." And I'm like, "No, you know what? It's made me who I am. It's
Mhm.
okay.
Mhm.
I'm good." Right? And if we can start to look at those things as that, it wasn't a great thing that happened, but you know, if it hadn't happened,
Yeah.
I would be different.
Yes, it's true.
And the crux of it is I kind of like where I'm at.
Hmm.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. Thank you, Sharon, for sharing all of our information. We had Jen's information in the comments earlier and mine now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for that.
Mhm.
Tanis,
New
you were one of
stage.
the few who helped me after. Yeah, new
Yeah.
stage.
It was an honor, Liz. It's my
Mhm.
pleasure.
Well, and Liz had another comment up there too about intuition
Mm,
and how things, came together after. And
yeah.
and that's the beauty of it when we allow ourselves to really follow the wisdom that's within us. It's amazing how much alignment comes from that, even though maybe there is a fear or maybe there is something that, we're worried about. If we can move the mind out of the way and allow ourselves to honor what's true for us, it's that flow that comes is really powerful.
Hmm.
Yeah. And Carla says our ego fights change. Yeah,
Mhm.
Yes.
absolutely. Hmm. And it took what it took to get me here. Exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So many things that, and when serendipity, like going back to the intuition thing, when we listen to our intuition and we go with the flow, amazing magical things happen.
Oh,
Hmm.
If you can trust in that. I think
Yeah.
for us, we often don't trust, whether we don't trust our guides or we don't trust the universe or we don't trust ourselves. I mean, you said earlier, Jen, about, not trusting ourselves to know what to do in a situation.
yeah.
But if
Mhm.
we can step into that trust,
Yeah,
magic can happen.
Yeah. Oh,
And that's a
definitely.
beautiful thing.
it really is.
So,
Yeah. I'm wanting to share, that idea of honoring the past. I think it's really important, and if we just honor it and recognize what it is, that's really important. And yeah, you can get overly complicated with it and very intricate to what that means. I remember, when one of my relationships ended unexpectedly for me. There were these moments of, oh my gosh, this is everything is horrible, everything is horrible. And I had a therapist say to me once, saying, everything feels horrible right now, but that does not change the good things that you experienced before. And
Mhm.
that's a really, I think, an important thing is that I think there's that comfort level, and suddenly things change. It doesn't discount all of the positive and all of the times when people feel really good or they're well connected, they had a great time.
mhm.
It doesn't go back and change that in time.
No.
So
No,
I
it's
don't know.
true.
Somebody needed to hear that. So
Yeah. So often though,
Yeah.
I'll have clients go like, I wasted so much time with this or with that. And it's like, no, you spent the time with it that you were meant to spend with it, and you changed it when you were meant to change it. Right? Like
mhm.
we have to recognize that we are meant to get different things from different experiences. And I loved what you're saying about honoring it, but I always say honor it, don't own it. Right? Like we can look at our past and we can honor what we've been through. We can honor the experiences and we can recognize that they've had an impact on us, but we don't have to carry the difficulties of those experiences with us moving forward. And so if we move from a place of honoring as opposed to a place of defining ourselves by, it makes a huge difference in the energy that we carry moving forward.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. Don't live in it, right? It's just energy. Energy's meant to flow.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. You're right where you're supposed to be. All is well.
Mm-hmm.
This is a really good mantra.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love this one.
There's somebody famous who says that all is well, all is well, all is well. I can't remember who that is. I'm going to look because that's what I want to do.
Okay.
Go for it.
While you look that up, maybe Jen, you'd like to pick one of our homework cards.
Yes,
too?
definitely. It's one of the card decks I threw on the floor. So hold on, I'll be right back.
She does that sometimes.
I was trying to get the book out and I knocked the cards off. You know,
It's all good.
just a mess.
Okay. All shall be well, and all shall be well, and all shall be, and all manner of things shall be well, is attributed to Julian of Norwich, an English mystic and theologian who lived from 1342 to around 1417. The phrase appears in T.S. Eliot's 1942 poem, Little Gidding.
Cool.
Wow.
Okay. Here we go.
Why are you slacking, Kaylee?
She's just not chatting as much, which is totally fine. We all have those days.
Oh, good. There's no slacking.
You're going to be chatting tonight.
Talk.
Save your chat.
Slacking.
Boom! Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Quit it! Quit it! You made me get my wand out. This is a woo. Okay.
Oh, because she forgot to remind Jen. That's what she's talking about.
Whatever.
It's okay. I can remember sometimes.
I'm the memory. I am the memory. I am the memory. That is the YouTube channel. I am the memory.
I think we have a memory sometimes. Don't we? We have a memory sometimes, right, Jen?
I mean, I
I
knew
don't
when I knocked
remember.
the deck on the floor that I was going to have to pick it up at some point.
I love that. Oh my god. Okay. We needed that little lift. All right. What's our homework? We got homework. I didn't say it.
And it's great. Plant a seed.
Ooh.
Lovely.
Right. And it's so interesting, right? Because we're talking about all this transformation and everything else. What is clearing way? We have to clear the ground. We have to clear a way to put a seed. So,
yeah.
Here we go. I'll read this one to you. An idea is trying to be born, grandchild. Enter the realm of the sacred feminine and plant that seed. Every good gardener knows that planting a seed is the first step in creating fruit, and every seed knows when to sprout. Is your garden ready? Like the perfection found in Mother Earth's garden, your soil must be nourished and thawed and warmed by Grandfather Sun after a cold spell. Hold that seed in your hand, and as you place it in the soil, let it show you its sacred nature. Plant that seed knowing that all creation supports its growth. For that is sacred law. Plant your fruitful idea. Your mind is like the soil. When it is open and nourished, it receives wisdom from the spirit realm. The mind without careful tending is like a garden overrun by weeds. Good ideas that bring you in alignment with spirit cannot take root in a mind filled with fear and distraction. Tend to the weeds in your mind and let your idea show you its sacred nature. Know that all of creation supports its growth.
Beautiful. Talked about fear.
I like that.
There we go. There's the hearts.
Very, very much in alignment with our conversation today.
Very
As we
much.
say, can't make this stuff
Can't make it up.
Cannot make it.
Always happens. Absolutely.
Mhm.
So, Jen, what have you got going on this week?
That's a really good question. I actually had stuff to share. Give me a brain a minute. Hold on. There is stuff. Okay, no, there isn't stuff this week, but there is some stuff coming up. So, actually, and this is news for you too, Tanis, because I haven't mentioned it yet. But up here in Bowman, Marianne and I are going to be doing a summer solstice celebration. And we're going to bring in solstice celebration, and we're going to bring in some Hungarian celebrations for Saint Jean Baptiste. So it's a beautiful thing. We're going to do some fire stuff, some fire jumping. There's going to be some just releasing of energy, songs, all kinds of really beautiful, intention setting and all of that that's going to be coming in. So if you happen to be in the area up here and you want to go, you can find it on Facebook. I can share a link, but it's going to be a really fun time to celebrate the solstice and to bring in that energy and to honor, what we want to, what we're in right now, right? This ability to transform and release and allow that, fire to bring us forward. So how do we register? It's shared on Facebook, and actually
You can probably put that in the notes.
How to do this. So you guys share other stuff and I'm going to share it.
And I love this quote from Jack. So plant a seed and grow your dream.
Oh, I love that.
It's beautiful.
That's very nice.
Mm-hmm.
It's very nice.
Gerald,
I'm very excited that tomorrow, Tuesday the 11th, at 2 p.m. Eastern, I have a laugh and learn about worthiness. And I'm being joined by Medium Betsy Palmer, Hershey the Shadow Reader, and April from Tarot and Witchery, and Natural Witchery. And it's going to be wonderful. And on Friday the 14th, Tarot the Stashway number 26, we're talking about tarot and the sense of taste.
Ooh.
So
that'll be fun.
Yes, it's easier if everybody subscribes to my channel because you'll get notified, and I do post things on my community tab.
Absolutely. So his channel is in the description.
Yes. Yep. And
in the links below.
Tarot Stash.
Yep.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
So cool.
Awesome. And I know I am doing a special open mic this week. I don't know that it's live. It may not be. But it will be fun. If it is live, it is on Thursday. The reason I say I'm not quite sure, I have to check on that, is because it's a joint one with somebody else. So that's that is with a gentleman named Sebastian. So that'll be awesome. And then Ramsey and I have our usual open mic on Friday night at 7 p.m. And of course, I'm on with Kaylee tonight on Woo Woo Wonderment at 8 o'clock. We're going to talk galactics. So that'll be fun. And of course, we're back here again next week. Same time at 5 p.m. Eastern. So come back and join us. And it is always such a pleasure to have you, Gerald.
Oh, thank you.
You bring so much light with you when you join us.
Thank you.
So we're thankful and we love you.
You get the hearts.
It's all good.
We're going to do the confetti too. Awesome.
Did you post it?
I didn't post it yet. Sorry, I keep getting distracted because I keep talking to you guys. Let me go back. There it is.
Awesome.
Okay, so
Oh, I guess I should share as well that I did just post a new Bridge to the Galaxy, which is
Oh, nice.
a show that I do for the Alliance for Extraterrestrial Diplomatic Contact. We did the interview today. It was with Neil Gower, who is one of the founders of Portal to Ascension. So it was a great interview. So take a look at that. It's on the Alliance for Extraterrestrial Diplomatic Contact on their YouTube.
Cool.
Awesome. Well, I guess we should put this thing to bed today because we are over our time, I believe. So we want to thank everyone for joining us. It's always wonderful to have you all here. We do have the best chatters. And
we do have the best chatters. We do have the best lurkers. We have the best work lurkers and the future lurkers.
We do.
Love it.
So we thank you all for joining us. It's always so much fun to share our energy with you. And we look forward to seeing you next time. Take care now.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.